Let's start off with Jake. Welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me today. Excited to be here.
I'm glad you're here. Okay, Jake, background on you for our listening audience, and then we'll get into everything that you want to talk about.
Yeah, grew up in East Texas, so born and raised Texan. Went to TCU for undergrad, University of Dallas for grad school. Spent 4 or 5 years as a marketing consultant, and the entrepreneurship that runs generations through my blood finally gave way, and I launched Compete back in May of 2011.
Tell us about Compete. What does it do?
So Compete Every Day is a lifestyle brand. We sell apparel. We do keynote speaking and workshops, but really built around the message that life is worth competing for.
Okay, good mantra. Good mantra. Ed, jump all over
I only
this.
have one question. What part of East Texas are you from?
Jacksonville.
Home of the Fighting Indians.
That's right, and the Tomato Bowl.
And the Tomato Bowl, you're right. And also, who else? Who's the most famous alumni from Jacksonville?
Neil McCoy or Leanne Womack?
Take your pick. I'll go with Neil McCoy. Jake, I apologize for that, but I always say that to people from Jacksonville, so it's that 175 thing coming out of me. But what does it mean to compete every day? Obviously, that's a mantra for you, but kind of drill down into what that really means in the real scope of the world.
As we were talking earlier, it's about doing your best every day, regardless of the situation, what you feel like, or what you're facing. We're not going to win every day. That life makes sure of that. But we can give our best efforts. We can learn from what we did the day before, where we fell short or where we won, and build on it each day. It's all about pursuing greatness.
Jake, we see a lot of different things that influence people's ability to believe in their ability to be better than what they were yesterday. How does social media play a role in discouraging people who might be looking to be great for some reason and believe that somehow they can't?
It's everywhere in terms of people believing just because you have a follower count that you're doing something important. I think it's very easy to get caught up in people's highlights. I like to laugh that it's the idea of seeing a movie trailer, loving it, going to see the movie, and being completely disappointed or walking out. We have a habit of falling for those movie trailers on social media. So we see what other people are doing that we want to do, and we think they're just killing it, where behind the scenes they could be struggling and just putting on a show. And so a lot of people get discouraged by that, and that's not even taking into account the trolls and people that love to comment, make negative attacking because, let's be honest, they're not doing anything, and so they're trying to bring others down.
This is true. I look at it as lifestyles of the rich and famous on steroids for a lot of those people and the stories they're telling. So I'll let Michael jump in now.
Okay, thanks. That's all right. You're doing great. E-commerce. I want you to bring out what you're doing, what makes you a disruptor in the e-commerce world with, in light of everything we've already talked about.
Yeah, so technology-wise, e-commerce was the route to go. For me, we were selling T-shirts. A lot of our blanks you can find at other brands. So I knew online, especially e-commerce, gave me the ability to tell the story to the masses in a way that set our product and brand apart. And so for us, the way we've positioned our company is very different than you would see in other apparel, especially e-commerce apparel brands. And that is because we've diversified it to where apparel is just one product that we offer. We have the gear, we have socks, wristbands, things like that, but we've incorporated workshops. I obviously do a ton of keynote speaking around our brand message, which further integrates our community and customer base with that message in new ways, as well as introducing new people to the product line that would never pick up a T-shirt for going to work out.
How do you do that? That is a big deal right there.
The biggest way for me has been from day one. I knew I was going into one of the most crowded markets out there in apparel, and we're selling a $28 to $30 T-shirt, so it's not a $15 Hanes that you'd pick up at Walmart. I had to be different. And so for me, the fuel that helped me start the company in terms of writing a better story with my life and encouraging people to pursue greatness, ignore the critics, is what we try to focus on everything. So our shirt slogans, the designs, everything we have stories around them that we tell through every blog post, shirt release, social media video, social media post, so that someone is hearing that same story and that theme around that shirt 20, 30 different ways, because I know 1 to 2 ways is going to connect with you different than it's going to connect with him. And so we really hit that message, as well as pulling in people from the community, the influencers that we talked about, having them share their stories, what they're competing for, what they're competing against, so other people can see that and realize there's someone out there going through what I'm going through. If they can do it, maybe I can too.
Okay, so what I'm getting also from this conversation is that you're linking everything, but not just to link it and have a narration. You're inviting a conversation to occur with all those links and your audience.
100%.
Is that okay?
For us, it's about the end of the day. My goal is to remind people what they're capable of and to inspire them to be a competitor, shift that mindset. And so every activity that we do as a company, from speaking to T-shirts to social media posts, is about inviting them in for that conversation so we can help remind them what they're capable of or show them what's possible.
Yeah, that's what I found to be the
Jake,
most
over
successful.
the last few years or so, we've kind of devolved into a culture of everybody wins, everybody gets a participation trophy, and we should all feel really good about ourselves whether we win or lose. How do you teach people to compete with that backdrop in America right now?
I hate participation trophies, like 100% hate it. I'm all for encouraging people, but if we don't have standards in terms of winning and losing, how are you going to measure yourself? How do you know what you can do? I'm not telling you to berate the people that lose. But
When you get in the real world, believe me, it's competitive.
it's 100%
Yeah.
real life. And so if we start in youth sports and it's like, hey, you got beat 20-0 every game this season, here's trophies for you. The kids are like, oh, well, when I get older, it's going to be that way. I'm going to come out of college and things are going to be handed to me. And versus we didn't do well at this, what can I build upon? What can I get better at? That's how you learn, is by facing that adversity. I mean, it's as funny as this is, pressure creates diamonds, fire refines gold. It's taking the adversity, the difficulties of losing. That's the only things that make us better in life.
So what you're saying is we shouldn't spend our time trying to figure out a way to bumper bowl through life so that somehow we don't fall in the gutter and actually have to pull ourselves out. I've seen leagues like that where people aren't necessarily interested in having the kids, quote unquote, win, but the kids know who won and who lost because they're all talking noise to each other
100%.
anyway. But against that backdrop, though, I would see you could get some backlash with regard to teaching people to compete. Talk about some of the things that you've had to face with this company and teaching people to compete.
You know, a lot of people think it's all about, I don't need to compete. I love myself. And honestly, I think that's a very selfish response, because competing in and of itself, in the Greek term, back in the day, the word eratos was used to talk about competition. And it was the idea of the revelation of excellence through competition. And so the Greek culture thrived on this idea of competition because they believed in its ability to bring out your best self in everything. And so whether that's being a better leader, a better businessman, or a better family man, by competing against yourself and doing your best, you are able to bring out who you actually were created to be, who your true potential is.
I wanted to get to brand storytelling because that's a big deal out there. We got like less than a minute. Can you give me some nuggets to drop in on that topic?
Brand storytelling for us, it's constantly communicating our why you do what you do. It's getting your customers and community to share their involvement, what they love about your brand that you can integrate in. And then it's additionally finding different ways to tell the same story. Disney is all about experiences, but they have 100 different ways they're going to show you can have an incredible experience, but it's the same story. Magic happens at Disney.
Got it. All right. Contact info for you.
Contact info, competeeveryday.com, and then lifeisworthcompetingfor.com are our two sites.
Great. Jake, thanks for being a guest.
Thank you.
My pleasure. All right, Jake Thompson, Compete Every Day, competeeveryday.com. On the other side of the break, when we come back, it'll be Ed Baxter, Bison Creek Capital, and we'll bring you the Private Equity Spotlight. CEO Money segment brought to you by thevitaminpatch.com.